Have you ever wondered if the secret you have been chasing all your life is not hidden in faraway places, but resting quietly in your own hands? Every day, countless people throw away something so powerful, so transformative, that ancient women once treated it as a sacred gift. Imagine this. While you are spending money, time, and hope on creams that promise miracles, the most effective rejuvenating force may already be right there, inside your kitchen, waiting to be discovered. And yet, almost no one talks about it. Why? Because when the truth is simple, it is often ignored. Close your eyes for a second and picture yourself in front of the mirror. You look at your reflection and see more than lines, more than shadows on the skin. You see memories. Memories of who you once were, the light that once radiated from your face, the confidence that seemed so natural. What if I told you that this hidden force can bring that feeling back, not only softening the marks of time, but awakening a beauty that lives deeper than skin? What if your skin, your heart, and your soul were only waiting for you to remember? This is not just about appearance. This is about a connection that has been lost. For centuries, empresses and guardians of secret traditions trusted this liquid, not because of vanity, but because they understood something most people today have forgotten. The body listens to intention, the skin responds to presence, and the soul blooms when it feels seen. What we are talking about here is more than a beauty ritual. It is a key, a bridge, a doorway into yourself. But here comes the real question. Why would something so simple and close be able to change so much? And why has this secret survived in silence, guarded through centuries, whispered from woman to woman, like a flame that must never die? Stay with me until the end, because in the next few minutes I will reveal not only what this hidden treasure is, but also how to unlock it in a way that could forever transform the way you see yourself, the way you feel in your own skin, and the way you walk through the world. What if I told you that every single day, without realizing it, you are throwing away something that could completely change the way you feel about yourself? Something so ordinary, so familiar, that your mind dismisses it instantly. And yet, behind that simplicity hides one of the most powerful secrets of rejuvenation known to humankind. Stop for a moment and think. How many times have you stood in front of the mirror, tracing lines on your skin with your eyes, feeling that silent weight of time pressing on your reflection? How many times have you felt that ache inside, the quiet sadness of comparing who you are now with who you once were in old photographs? That inner voice whispering, "I used to look so alive, so bright." This secret touches that pain directly, not by covering it, but by awakening something that has always been yours. You may believe that the answer lies in expensive jars, futuristic technologies, or exotic formulas hidden behind advertisements. But here is the irony that will not leave your mind once you hear it. The true elixir was always near you, resting quietly in the most unexpected place. Imagine wasting decades searching far and wide only to discover that the greatest treasure had been sitting on your own table, unseen. Doesn't that idea already stir something inside you? A mix of curiosity, disbelief, and the urge to know more? That feeling is not random. It is the mind waking up to the possibility of a hidden truth. Let me take you deeper into this mystery. History tells us that in distant times, women considered this simple liquid not just a tool for beauty, but almost a sacred substance. It was respected in rituals, whispered about in chambers, and passed secretly from mother to daughter. They did not treat it as a cosmetic, but as an ally, as if the very soul of nature was concentrated in its white clarity. Think about that for a second. Why would entire generations guard such a thing if it were meaningless? Why would powerful women, with access to riches and luxury, rely on something so simple instead of gold-filled concoctions? The answer is because it worked, and it worked on levels far beyond the skin. You might be wondering, if this secret is so real, why haven't you heard about it until now? Why do most people continue to pour it down the drain, blind to its potential? The truth is uncomfortable. When something cannot be easily packaged, marketed, and sold at a high price, it is often silenced. Simplicity does not serve the world of profit, but simplicity, when embraced with awareness, serves the soul. And that is why you are here right now, because you are about to remember what many have forgotten. Let me share a story that may sound familiar. A woman named Marilia once confessed with a trembling voice that she no longer recognized herself in the mirror. At 54, she felt as if her skin carried not just years, but the weight of invisibility. She whispered, "It feels like my face does not belong to me anymore." When she discovered this forgotten ritual, she approached it with hesitation. "I don't believe in miracles," she told herself. Yet within weeks, her reflection began to change. Not because the world suddenly became kinder, but because she felt herself returning. She sent only 2 words in her message: "I'm back." Imagine what that means. Not just looking younger, but feeling present again, as if you had returned to your own body after being absent for years. Does that not shake something inside you? The thought that you, too, could whisper those same words. But let's not stay only in the realm of stories. Let's provoke a deeper reflection. What if the lines on your skin were not signs of defeat, but signals? Messages from your body saying, "Do not forget me." What if the loss of brightness was not just decay, but an invitation, a doorway to remind you that beauty is not dead, only dormant, waiting to be awakened? Think about it. When you look in the mirror and sigh, what are you really mourning? Is it youth? Or is it the memory of a self that felt alive, confident, worthy? If it is the latter, then perhaps what you seek has less to do with turning back time and more to do with calling yourself home. Now, I need you to imagine this scene clearly. You, standing before the mirror. The familiar sadness begins to rise, but instead of giving in, you take this simple liquid, press it gently onto your skin, and breathe. In that moment, you are not just applying something external. You are declaring something to yourself. I deserve to return. Feel how powerful that thought is. It shakes the foundations of everything you have been taught to believe about aging, about beauty, about worth. Suddenly, the skin is no longer your enemy, but your messenger. And every drop is a reminder that your story is not finished. Of course, doubt may still linger in your mind. Isn't this too simple? Too good to be true? But consider this. The most profound truths of existence are always simple: breathing, loving, remembering. Why should rejuvenation be any different? Maybe the reason you never found what you were looking for is because you kept searching in the complicated, the expensive, the unreachable, when all along the answer was waiting in the ordinary. Sometimes the divine hides itself in the most humble of forms, just to see who has the eyes to recognize it. But here is the conflict you cannot escape. Now that you know such a possibility exists, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue to dismiss it, as you have always done, pouring it away without a second thought? Or will you lean in, allow your curiosity to grow, and discover what generations before you already knew? This is the choice that defines not just your beauty, but your relationship with yourself. Because every time you turn away from it, you turn away from your own chance to return. Before I tell you exactly how this secret works, I want you to feel the weight of this moment. You are standing at the threshold of remembering. Behind you lies the familiar, the doubt, the resignation, the constant belief that nothing can change. Ahead of you lies the possibility, the chance to not just soften your skin, but to awaken your spirit. The question is, which step will you take? Because once you walk forward, you will never again look at this forgotten liquid in the same way. Stay with me, because what I am about to reveal will not only answer your questions, but will challenge everything you thought you knew about beauty, aging, and the silent dialogue between your body and your soul. And when you see the truth behind this ancient ritual, you will understand why women guarded it like a treasure, why they whispered it only to those who were ready, and why it might be the most important secret you have ever been about to uncover. They say some secrets are so close to us that we fail to notice them, and yet, once revealed, they forever change the way we see life itself. Imagine for a moment the world of the geishas, those women who were not only symbols of beauty, but guardians of mysteries that blended body, spirit, and ritual. They were trained to transform every act into a ceremony. Washing the face was never just washing. It was a dialogue with time. Applying a simple liquid to the skin was not vanity. It was a conversation with life itself. Their secret, carefully hidden for generations, was never about masks or layers of makeup. It was about listening to the skin and awakening the essence that already existed within. Picture one of these women, her face glowing under the soft light of a candle, dipping her hands into a bowl of water made cloudy by rice. To others, it would look ordinary, but to her it was sacred. Each movement was deliberate, each breath filled with intention. She did not hurry, because she knew the invisible could never be rushed. And as she pressed that water onto her skin, she whispered thanks, as if acknowledging that nature had just given her more than a treatment. It had given her a blessing. Now let's bring this closer to your life. Think of how often you rush through your day, applying products in front of the mirror while your mind is somewhere else. Think of those moments when you put on creams without believing in them, already doubting they will work. That is where the difference lies. The geishas understood something that modern life has almost erased. Your body listens to you. When you touch your skin with presence, your cells respond. When you believe in what you are doing, the ritual turns into transformation. And that is why this forgotten liquid is more than a cosmetic. It is a bridge back to yourself. Let me tell you about Sylvia, a woman who had gone through a painful separation. She said that every time she looked in the mirror, she felt emptiness. One evening, almost by chance, she decided to try the ritual of rice water. At first, she laughed at herself, thinking, "How can something so simple help me?" But she pressed it onto her face night after night, breathing deeply as she did it. Within days, she noticed something subtle, not just a change in her skin, but a change in her emotions. She cried during those rituals, as if each drop carried away the weight of her pain. Weeks later, she said the mirror no longer frightened her. Her eyes carried light again. It was not just the ritual, it was the choice to treat herself with care instead of neglect. And maybe this is the most surprising part. The power of this secret is not only physical, it is psychological, it is emotional, it is spiritual. When you begin to treat your skin as a sacred part of you, you awaken the layers of your identity that time and routine tried to bury. The geishas knew it. Women across centuries whispered it. And now it is reaching you. Ask yourself, what would happen if you tried it not as an experiment but as a promise to yourself? I want you to feel something right now. Imagine the water sliding over your face. Imagine your reflection softening. And imagine a voice inside you saying, "You are still here. You are still alive. You are still radiant." How does that feel? Does it not awaken something you thought was lost? Does it not remind you that beauty is not a distant dream, but something waiting quietly for your permission to return? If you are feeling this truth echo inside you, then I want you to write these words in the comments, "Forever Young." Yes, write them. Because when you write them, you are not only leaving a message for me, you are declaring to yourself that you choose renewal, that you choose to believe, that you choose to awaken. Forever Young is more than a phrase. It is a decision. And only those who are ready to step into this secret will have the courage to type it. So go ahead, do it now. Let your fingers make the choice your heart is craving. And after you do that, look at the corner of your screen. Somewhere there is a red button. Only the chosen will click it. Only the ones who are ready to honor themselves, who are ready to carry this secret into their own lives, will subscribe and join this journey. Do not think of it as a simple click. Think of it as a seal, a blessing. Because the moment you press that button, you are saying to yourself, "I am chosen, I am ready, and I will never again throw away the gifts life places in my hands." Stay with me, because what comes next will explain why this ordinary-looking liquid has such extraordinary power hidden inside it. And once you understand that, the way you see yourself and the way you see your future will never be the same again. There is a reason why some traditions survive for centuries, while others disappear without leaving a trace. The rituals that remain are the ones that touch something deeper than the surface, the ones that carry truth hidden beneath. Their simplicity. Rice water is one of these secrets. At first glance, it seems ordinary, nothing more than cloudy liquid left behind after preparing a meal. Yet when we look closely, when we open our eyes beyond appearances, we begin to see why generations of women protected it like a treasure. Science and ancient wisdom meet here, and the result is extraordinary. The skin has 3 pillars that sustain its vitality: deep hydration, constant renewal, and a strong, natural barrier. Whenever one of these weakens, the signs of aging appear. Whenever all three fail at once, the skin loses its light, its firmness, its life. Rice water has the mysterious ability to act on all of them at the same time. Vitamin B3 improves circulation and renews the surface. Vitamin E protects from invisible enemies called free radicals. And inositol, a molecule that is almost hidden from the world, strengthens the cells from within, helping them to remember their natural rhythm. When you put this together, you no longer have just water. You have a living serum. But here's the part most people do not realize. Beyond the nutrients, there is energy. The medicine of ancient China teaches that the skin is the mirror of our inner life. If your energy is tired, your skin looks tired. If your emotions are heavy, your reflection will be heavy. When you place rice water on your face with presence, you are not only nourishing the body, you are realigning invisible currents that flow through you. That is why women who practice this ritual describe not only smoother skin, but calmer hearts, lighter moods, and a sense of returning home to themselves. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, what if your skin has been waiting for this kind of attention all along? What if the dullness you see in the mirror is not simply age, but a reflection of how much you have forgotten to look at yourself with care? Could it be that the transformation is not about adding something new, but about remembering what was always there? Let me share another story. Helena, a woman of 62, believed she was too late. She said, "Nothing works anymore. My skin does not respond." She started with rice water almost as a joke, applying it first around her eyes, then slowly across her whole face. What surprised her was not only the change in her skin, but the change in her ritual. She began to breathe slower, to smile more often, to feel gratitude she had not felt in years. After 3 weeks, her daughter asked in shock, "Mom, what happened to you?" Helena's quiet answer was, "I remembered myself." Think about that for a moment. How many times have you forgotten yourself? How many mornings have you rushed through the mirror without truly seeing who was there? And what if the secret was never about erasing lines, but about reconnecting with the person inside those lines? Does this not shift everything you thought you knew about beauty? Now, let's bring in an image that may surprise you. Imagine your skin as a sacred garden. If you pour too much water at once, the roots cannot absorb it. If you never water it at all, it dries and dies. But if you water it daily, with patience and care, the garden flourishes. Rice water works like this gentle rain. It does not force change overnight, but nourishes consistently until the forgotten life awakens again. And suddenly, what seemed lost begins to bloom. But here is the question that breaks the rhythm. If the answer is so accessible, why do so few embrace it? Why do so many continue to chase expensive solutions while ignoring what is already within reach? Could it be that we are conditioned to distrust what is simple, believing only what comes with a price tag has real value? And if that is the case, what else in your life are you ignoring just because it feels too simple to matter? Consider Sylvia's story once more. Every evening she would sit, soak cotton pads in rice water, and press them against her face for 15 minutes. It became her quiet time, her personal ceremony. She repeated to herself, "My skin is alive. My beauty returns." These words may sound small, but repetition changed her. She was not only speaking to her skin, she was speaking to her heart. Within weeks, the glow returned. And more than that, her confidence returned. People around her began noticing her energy, not just her appearance. And here is the revelation. When your energy changes, your world changes. The skin becomes the messenger of that shift. Now let me ask you this. Have you ever considered that your skin remembers? That it carries the imprint of every smile, every sorrow, every night of worry, and every moment of joy? If that is true, then when you apply rice water with intention, you are not simply caring for the surface. You are whispering to those memories, "I see you, I honor you, and now I choose to heal you." How powerful is that idea? Does it not stir something inside you? The thought that your skin is not just matter, but memory? The science confirms what tradition has always said. Fermented rice water, when left to rest, multiplies its strength. The pH balances, nutrients increase, and penetration deepens. Women who practice this not only see visible results faster, but describe feeling as if their skin is breathing differently, almost as if it is waking up. Imagine that moment. You touch your face and feel life returning beneath your fingers. That sensation is not illusion. It is communication between you and the living cells of your body. But here is another pause, another open space to reflect. What else in your life could change if you approached it with the same presence? What if your relationships, your work, your very existence could be renewed in the same way? By slowing down, by bringing intention, by refusing to live on autopilot? If rice water can awaken the skin, could your presence awaken everything else? There is one more curiosity that adds to the mystery. The women of the Tang dynasty in China did not limit this ritual to their faces. They poured rice water through their hair, letting it flow from root to tip. The result was hair that grew strong, radiant, and resistant to the years. Think of that. A simple rinse repeated consistently that created an aura of beauty which poets wrote about. Do you realize how extraordinary that is? A practice so humble and yet so transformative that it became legend. And so we return to you. Right now you are holding this knowledge. It is not theory anymore, it is possibility. The question is, will you treat it as ordinary, the way the world taught you to, or will you honor it as the sacred tool it truly is? The mirror will not lie. The choice will be visible not only in your reflection, but in how you feel when you see yourself. Will you look and sigh with resignation, or will you look and finally smile, knowing you have chosen to remember yourself? Stay close, because what I am about to reveal next goes even deeper. There is a hidden detail, passed down only in whispers, that makes this ritual even more powerful. And once you understand it, you will see why rice water is not just a forgotten trick, but a doorway into a different way of living, one that merges science, spirit, and the hidden strength inside you. There comes a moment when a practice stops being just an idea and becomes an experience that transforms you. The ritual of rice water begins exactly there. It is not a recipe to be rushed, nor a formula to be copied without thought. It is an invitation to slow down and treat every step as a meaningful act. Choosing the rice is already a declaration. In ancient traditions, the type of rice carried energy. The whiter grains represented clarity. The darker ones carried grounding strength. Today, we might ignore such details, but those who paid attention knew that what you put into the water carried itself into your skin. Washing the grains, stirring them with your fingers, letting them rest. Each moment speaks to your body in ways you might not yet understand. As the minutes pass, the water changes. What looked like plain liquid becomes milky, almost luminous, filled with invisible life. 30 minutes of rest. The same pause once called the awakening. This was not superstition. It was observation. Minerals, amino acids, antioxidants, all dissolve into the water, waiting to meet your skin. Science confirms what rituals always suggested. This simple step begins a chemical transformation. Yet something more profound also happens. You are not only preparing water, you are preparing yourself. The very act of pausing interrupts the chaos of your day, forcing you to breathe, to wait, to remember that beauty cannot be rushed. Now think of what happens when you extend this process. If you let the water sit for 24 hours, covered only by a cloth, something subtle awakens. Fermentation begins, the pH changes, the nutrients multiply, and suddenly you have a substance stronger than before. At first glance, this might look like an accident, but the women of the past called it a gift of time. They knew that allowing nature to work without interference created power that no human hand could manufacture. Imagine the patience it takes to leave something untouched for a whole day in a world where everything screams for speed. That patience itself becomes part of the medicine. Ask yourself, how many areas of your life could be transformed if you allowed more patience? If you trusted time instead of fighting against it? Could your body, your relationships, your very sense of self be waiting for the same kind of fermentation? Slow, unseen, yet undeniably powerful. When the water is ready, the ritual of application begins. In the morning, after washing your face with warm water, you take the rice water in your hands or on cotton and apply it with gentle circles. The pressure is not random. Circles awaken circulation. They mimic the cycles of nature. The warmth of your hands adds a hidden element. Japanese tradition advised heating the water lightly, not boiling, just enough to feel like an embrace. That detail alone allowed the pores to open and receive everything more deeply. How many people today rush their skincare, applying cold products with no presence, not realizing they are closing the very gates of absorption? Stories of transformation multiply when this ritual is practiced consistently. A young woman in South Korea once said her grandmother's hands, though wrinkled by time, still felt soft like silk. Her secret was never expensive creams, but the same water used for cooking rice, pressed nightly into her hands. In Japan, elderly women of remote villages would rinse their faces and hair with it, and researchers who visited noticed that their skin age markers were significantly lower than those of urban populations. Imagine that. Global studies show stress accelerates aging more than genetics. And yet, in those simple villages, a calm ritual and a bowl of rice water protected generations. Numbers tell a story of their own. Worldwide, the beauty industry generates over $500 billion every year, yet more than 60% of women still report dissatisfaction with their appearance. Contrast this with villages where rituals like rice water survived. Women there describe beauty not as perfection, but as balance. The paradox is clear. The more we chase, the less we find. The more we spend, the less we trust. Could the answer be that the solutions were never meant to be bought, but practiced? Hair, too, carries memory. Records from the Tang dynasty describe women with hair that reached their ankles, black and shining even with age. Historians wondered how this was possible in a time with no modern products. The answer, uncovered centuries later, was that their final rinse was not plain water, but rice water. Even now, in villages in southern China, you will find women in their 80s with hair as dark and strong as those in their 20s. Scientists tested their practices and confirmed the amino acids in rice water protect the hair shaft, reduce friction, and strengthen from within. What marketing tries to sell in bottles was already in their bowls. Now ask yourself, what does this say about us? That we forget wisdom as soon as someone offers us convenience? That we abandon what is proven as soon as someone tells us the next miracle is more modern? How many other treasures are we throwing away every single day? The ritual is not only for the face and hair. Some used it for hands, others for arms, even for the chest. They knew that the skin speaks the truth of the years not only in the face, but in the forgotten areas we rarely touch. Imagine applying it on your hands, the same hands that cook, clean, and carry so much of your life, and suddenly feeling them soften, as if they too had been waiting for acknowledgement. Isn't that a metaphor for life itself? What you neglect turns dry, what you honor turns alive. And now comes an unexpected revelation. As powerful as rice water is, there is an addition that magnifies it beyond belief. This addition was once called the seal of youth. It is the oil of rosehip, born from a flower that blooms again after the harshest cuts. The rosehip is not simply a plant, it is a symbol of rebirth. Its oil carries regenerative properties so strong that even scars and deep lines respond. But here is the detail that makes all the difference. It is not mixed with rice water, but layered after it. First, the water awakens and nourishes. Then, while the skin is still damp, a drop of rosehip oil is pressed gently onto the face. The skin drinks it like desert soil drinking rain. Women who tried this combination describe something hard to put into words. Some cried during the first moments, overwhelmed not by what they saw, but by what they felt. It was as if their skin was not only touched by oil, but by kindness long forgotten. This is the real secret, not the product, but the act. Pressing the hands with care, giving attention to oneself with intention, transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Consider Rosanna's story, a nurse who spent years caring for others but never herself. She was gifted a small bottle of rosehip oil and told to combine it with rice water. At first, she resisted. "I don't have time," she thought. But one night she tried. The first night felt awkward. The second night still showed no miracle. On the third, however, something shifted. She described it as finally recognizing her own reflection, not as a patient or a worker, but as a woman worthy of care. Isn't that what we all need? To be reminded we are worthy? Statistics add another layer to this truth. Over 70% of women admit to feeling invisible after the age of 50. This invisibility is not about the world only, but about themselves. They stop seeing their own reflection as alive. Yet rituals like rice water and rose hip oil reverse that, not because they erase age, but because they bring presence. And presence creates radiance stronger than any cosmetic. Can you see now why ancient women treated these practices as sacred? They were not chasing youth, they were protecting dignity. Now pause and reflect. What if you right now chose to bring this into your daily life? Not as an experiment, not as a curiosity, but as a commitment. How would your mornings feel if the first act was not rushing to cover flaws, but slowly pressing drops of intention into your own skin? Wouldn't your day begin differently? Wouldn't your reflection carry more than appearance? Wouldn't it carry meaning? The surprise is this: transformation has less to do with what you use and more to do with how you use it. That is the paradox modern culture hides. A simple liquid, a drop of oil, a few minutes of presence. Together they create what billions of dollars in products often fail to provide: a sense of return. And once you feel that return, once you whisper to yourself, "I am still here," the mirror no longer threatens you. It greets you. Stay with me, because the next step is even more unexpected. There is a hidden obstacle that explains why some people experience deep transformation with this ritual, while others see only small changes. It is not about skin type or age. It is something far more invisible, and yet far more powerful. And unless you understand it, you may continue to sabotage your own reflection without realizing it. There is a truth few are willing to face. The greatest obstacle to renewal is not age, genetics, or even external conditions. It is the silent belief that nothing will work anymore. That small inner voice that whispers, "It is too late. You are no longer worthy." This invisible thought is the true barrier. Stronger than any wrinkle, deeper than any scar. Rice water, rose hip oil, rituals of presence. They can work wonders, but only when the heart allows them in. If your heart says no, the skin listens. If your heart says yes, the transformation begins. So how can you begin to shift this? It starts with permission, a decision to honor yourself, not someday, but today. Imagine treating every drop of rice water as if it carried not only vitamins and minerals, but a message. Each time you apply it, you are telling your body, "I see you, I choose you, I will no longer abandon you." This is not just skincare. It is self-care at the most profound level. And when repeated consistently, it becomes a language your cells understand. They respond, not because of magic, but because of memory. The body remembers what it feels like to be honored. To help you, here is a simple plan you can start following right now. First, prepare a small bowl of rice water once or twice a week. Let it rest for 30 minutes at minimum, or allow it to ferment for 24 hours if you want it stronger. Store it in the refrigerator and use it for up to 7 days. Every morning and evening after washing your face, apply it with your hands or cotton in gentle circles. Breathe slowly as you do this and take those few minutes to be fully present. Do not rush. Let it be your private ritual, your pause in the day. Second, after applying the rice water and while your skin is still damp, place 1 or 2 drops of rose hip oil in your palms. Rub them together to warm it, and press it lightly on your face. Do not drag, do not rub harshly. Just press gently, as if you are sending kindness through your fingertips. Repeat this step at night, especially when your body is preparing to repair itself naturally. Third, once a week create a mask by soaking cotton pads or gauze in rice water and leaving them on your face for 15 minutes. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and repeat silently, "My skin is alive, my beauty returns, I am whole." These words are not decoration, they are medicine for the mind. Neuroscience has already shown that repetition changes the brain. When your brain believes, your body follows. Finally, extend the ritual beyond your face. Use rice water on your hands, your neck, your chest, those areas that often reveal age first but are almost always forgotten. By including them, You send yourself a message of completeness. Every part of me deserves care. This is not indulgence, it is alignment. If you follow this plan with patience and intention, you will see visible results in weeks. But more importantly, you will feel an invisible change. More peace in the mirror, more calm in your mornings, more dignity in the way you carry yourself. And is that not the true goal? To no longer fight your reflection, but to welcome it with gratitude. Still, the plan is not only about what you do with your skin. It is also about what you do with your mind. To support the ritual, practice one more step. At least once a day, pause, close your eyes, and ask yourself, do I believe I deserve renewal? Even if the answer feels uncertain, asking the question opens the door. In time, the answer will grow stronger, and when it does, your reflection will change along with it. Think about this carefully. If your skin truly carries memory, if it responds to the way you see yourself, then this ritual is more than beauty. It is healing. It is reconciliation between you and the face you carry into the world. Can you imagine how different life feels when you walk with that kind of confidence? Not a mask, not an illusion, but genuine inner radiance. You may still feel doubt, and that is normal. Doubt is the last defense of old beliefs, but the choice remains yours. Will you listen to the doubt and keep repeating the same cycle? Or will you try something so simple, so accessible, yet so profound? Remember, this is not about becoming 20 years younger. It is about becoming fully alive right now. And when you are alive, people notice. Your energy shifts, your presence expands, your life responds differently. So here is my invitation. Do not let this knowledge fade into another forgotten idea. Turn it into action. Prepare the water. Create the ritual. Speak the words. Give yourself permission to begin. And then watch, not only as your skin transforms, but as your entire relationship with yourself changes. If you have listened until now, it means something inside you is ready. Do not ignore that call. Let today be the moment you choose to return to yourself. Because once you take this step, you will never again look at rice water or at your own reflection in the same way. And now, I want to hear from you. Share your questions, your thoughts, or even your experiences in the comments, anonymously if you prefer. Your story may be the light another person needs. And if this message has touched you, show it. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join this community. Think of the red button not as a simple click, but as your way of saying, I choose myself. Because every time you press it, you seal a promise. You will never again forget the beauty and dignity that belong to you.